Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building. Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. His fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
You might do it. Kick dig back here. Welcome to the Philly Shakedown podcast. Post game as the Eagles go to 11-2 on the season, but the game maybe wasn't what we were all thinking or hoping it was going to be. Joey Shakes, what's going on, my man? How are you?
Well, by the way, I think your TV's playing in the background. By the way.
Oh, sorry. Let me lower that. Yeah,
just to make sure. Yeah, no. Yeah,
that's all I need.
You win 9 straight games. It's gonna be the big question now of like this was an overlooked game. Not a big flashy game for the Eagles, and they really play down to the competition on bad teams or teams now, even with Carolina as more of a team that's played relatively a lot better the last, couple weeks. And we'll have a lot to talk about here. The good, the bad, the ugly, and what to look forward to later on. So
yeah, I agree. What is going on, everybody? DeAndre Swift is a beast. What's going on? Young Boy Majesty. Cade, thank you for the super chat. What's up, Shakedown? Hope you're all doing good. Not the greatest performance, but we pulled out a dub, thankfully. Bring on the Steelers. Agreed. Thank you for that super chat. What's going on? Eagles, House Cat. It's 3D now. Deion Smith, Tommy Guns, Big Ben, Little G Griffith, Odell Boy, J-Mac, Bryce, Big Ben. Thank you guys so much for being here. Everybody in the chat. The Eagles, they win, get to 11-2, one game away from clinching the division. But really, this game, it wasn't their best game. It was probably their worst game since the Tampa Bay game. But they pulled it out. Luckily, Xavier Legette dropped that ball at the end because I thought he was going to catch that, and I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe what we're seeing here. Yeah, we lucked out that he dropped it, and you win 9 games in a row, like you said. It's going to happen. This is the NFL. You're not going to just sit there and win games always the way that people think or the way that paper says you're going to win. But I thought this was the worst they looked since Tampa Bay. No question about it.
Teams are going to give you their best shot, especially like I know it's a generic thing to say. Well, they kept it close to a 3-8 team. The teams are going to when those teams that aren't playing well during the year are looking at a team that's really good. They want to give you your best shot, and I think the Eagles have every time the Eagles have played a statistically bad team. The Browns, the only one by 4. The Jags, Nick took over in that game. Like they didn't look great. I don't know what these lesser type teams that they're facing. They always play down to the competition in these games. So.
I agree. Troy, thank you for super chat. Like the Chiefs and the Lions fans say, good teams win ugly games. Yeah, it's true. I mean, at the end of the day, you won the game, and that's what matters most. The one thing I was really hoping going into this game was that we were going to figure out the early season or the early first quarter struggles, but that just continued, man. That continues to be an issue, and I don't know. I mean, what do you think is going on in the first quarter with this team? Like, what are they doing that is like such a problem? Why are they having such a problem in the first quarter specifically?
I think there's just too many cooks in the kitchen. Like we don't even know specifically who's really doing this. Isn't the passing game coordinator? Is it Kellen Moore? Is it Nick Sirianni getting involved on certain things that he's game planning in these first halves? I mean, the players are going to. This was a game where we're playing from behind yet again, and your defense finally starts to struggle post-bye. This is the first game post-bye week that the Eagles have struggled defensively, and your offense is going to have to pick up the pieces, and they couldn't do it. I mean, they looked dry, they looked dead in the water, they looked boring, there was just nothing going on with that passing game. We saw A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith just talking to each other on the sideline like, yo, like what's going on here? This is only going to last for so long. They need to fix this. Like this, and they're allowed to have a bad game, but that's where I'm pretty much at, but
yeah. No, let me say this. I don't think, when we talk about certain struggles today and what happened in today's game, it does not mean we're panicking. It does not mean we're saying the ship is sinking. It does not mean we are or turned against this team. We're just pointing out and talking about the things that occurred in this game specifically, But I thought this was the worst defensive game. I almost feel like Cooper DeJean probably, being a rookie,
woke up,
probably felt pretty good last week with all the talk about him. He was at Angelo's Cheesesteaks, like, the King Henry, knocking King Henry down and all those things. This was a good like get back, refocus type thing, because this was the worst I've seen him play. Thielen destroyed him today. Thielen ate him up. And not only that, the amount of missed tackles by him and the other guys. I haven't seen that many missed tackles in a long time.
I think the bright spot to the defense was Zach Ball. He had 11 tackles, a sack, 3 tackles for loss. 2 QB hits. He was a beast today. He was awesome today.
Yeah. Very, very good. He was very good. I thought Jalen Carter was very good too. One day he's going to get a holding call. One day they're going to start calling it. But I thought he was wreaking havoc, especially early in the game. But it would have been nice, that last drive. I mean, on that last drive where they go down and almost score, don't you think, damn, wish we had Hassan Reddick here? This is where you want Hassan Reddick.
Yeah. And
I kept thinking about that.
Yeah, and with the edge rushers, man, like they just couldn't contain the outside. They were just really bad today. Like these little lanes would open up for Bryce Young, where he's ran the most on us this post-bye this season. I mean, and usually we're pretty good with these mobile quarterbacks, but they couldn't contain him. They're missing tackles left and right. I mean, it looks like the old Eagles. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, and I really think it was just I think it was a game that we took for granted. I think we overlooked. I think coming off that big game with the Ravens, I think these things happen. And I thought from the coaching staff on both sides of the ball to the quarterback to the defense, I thought they had a letdown. Just the energy at the start of this game, like it just felt like they were going through the motions. Even the crowd, like you could tell, it just didn't have that feel, because it's just one of those games. I'm sure next week that you're going to see a completely different team, especially defensively. Chris Kaufman, thank you for the super chat. A.J. Brown was asked what is wrong with the offense. He responded, the passing game. Yeah, the passing game is a problem, and it does worry me more than just being a one-game hiccup, because mainly the struggles in the first quarter. But I do think Herz is struggling, and I think I don't know what's going on with the passing game, but it feels like every week it's getting worse and worse. So they got to figure out what's going on. I mean, what were your thoughts on Jalen today?
Well, it wasn't just the first quarter. Even they scored at the end of the second, the first half. Who cares? But they still looked ugly, and it leaked into the second half as well a little bit. And then they started to get their groove on a little bit, because you at least had a running game. They ran, it was time to run with Saquon Barkley in that second half like crazy, and it would work. And sometimes it didn't, but he broke free for some, which was great. But Herz was missing some wide open guys. He was bailing out too early. He was sitting in the pocket for too long with good protection. I don't know the route combinations. I mean, I feel like we're talking about the same thing every time we watch this team in the first half. It's like There's no the creativity, the draw plays with Jalen Hurts, and miscommunication. Like, I don't know why they shouldn't be looking like this in a first half. Period. Like, Jalen Hurts had 3 touchdowns, and a little bit over 100 yards. You would think that, looking at it, not without watching the game and looking at the stats, you'd be like, he had a good game. Efficient game. Didn't turn the ball over. He didn't turn the ball over, and he was smart with the football today. But are they allowed an ugly game like this? I mean, this game reminds me of how the Eagles played. This game reminds me how the Eagles played last year. Every game was like ugly game, heart attack on the line, we're flipping out. That's how it was. But there's a lot of Eagle fans that have too much tunnel vision right now. They just look, you can't play like this against the Steelers. You can't play like this against the Lions. Like, these other teams have had hiccups just like we have. We had the top teams have had hiccups. We're not the only team that's had hiccups against other teams like this.
No, and listen, all these guys are human, these things happen in the NFL all the time. And if you let a team hang around early and stuff, if you don't come out and you're not really ready to go, or you don't match the intensity, these things happen. So, to me, I'm not overly worried about the tightness of this game. The thing that worries me about this team, and I think it's a problem, is the starts. You can't start this way. They've got to seriously do something about the starts on this team, because if you do this against Detroit, you're going to lose. You can't start this slow offensively every week. And I don't know what's going on with Jalen. Like, I thought that, even like late in the game, I just thought some of his decision making was not there. And I don't know if it was just he was off today or what. But I think, if you look at Baltimore game last week, there were times where he was up and down in the passing game. Today, I thought he wasn't good. And, I mean, you go to the second half of the game, A.J. Brown had 2 catches. Going into the second half, I mean, that's crazy. So we got to figure out what's going on. And I'm not saying it's not fixable. It is fixable. But why are these struggles happening? And like, how to fix it is going to be key for this team, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. Ocean Stack, thank you for the super chat. He goes, I have a stat for everyone to think about. Every 9-win team in a season has gone to the NFC Championship game. Well, that's pretty good. And I expect that to happen for the Eagles this year. But, we'll see. Toilet Smoke, David Super Chat goes, every bad team has a close game with good teams. Remember when Jalen Hurts had his first start against the number 1 defense, Saints, and they upset them? Yeah, it happens. It happens. I'm not worried. Now, if they came out next week and played like this, I would say, all right, what the hell's going on? But, I mean, these things happen. The important thing is that you won. And I know that, that's just may seem like to some people it's a way to dismiss it. It's not. But, I don't know. To me, the scary thing is figuring out why this offense struggles early in games. I think that's the key. I really do. I don't think Jalen had his best game. I don't think this whole team had their best game. I think all of them will be better next week. I do. I really think they played down to their competition today. I just think that's
I agree.
The way it was. Derek DeGee, thank you for super chat, because defense held them to 16 points. Herz has to put the offensive position defense bald. I think the defense was okay. I don't think they were great today.
They didn't fucking ball at all. But.
I mean, they missed a lot of tackles. I mean, just being honest, like, I've come to expect this defense to tackle well, to, guy catches a ball like Thielen. I don't expect DeGene to miss a tackle. Like, those things happen. Nobody's going to be perfect all the time. But this defense is much better than they played today. And I think the offense is much better they played today. And I think Hertz is much better than they played today. But I do think there's issues with the passing game. You see it kind of building up over the course of the last few weeks, where I think there's a little bit of I think they're out of sync in the passing game. I think they've got to figure out what's going on. I mean, when's the last time they took a deep shot? Like they have, I don't remember him taking a shot downfield to like AJ Brown at all. Not only this game, but last week too.
Well, they didn't throw they didn't even throw a slant until like that was to AJ. It was like what, end of the third to the fourth quarter. I mean, just a lot, just Hertz being hesitant and just like.
The one play dead. Late in the game, what about where he slides down and takes the sack?
All that, that big.
I mean,
loss.
it was like, you can't do that. So I think they need to figure out some things going on in the passing game, and I think a lot of it has to do more so because of the first quarter starts. Obviously the run game is great. Shout out to Saquon Barkley. He broke the Eagles rushing record. Another big day. I mean, the guy's an absolute stud, and I don't know how there's any question that he's the MVP, because he is. Jameson Smith, thank you for the super chat. He goes, Jake is going to cost us in the playoffs. He has not made a kick over 50 yards this year. He has missed so many. Safe to say our boy is washed. He must go. What are your thoughts about the that? Because I am worried about the kicker.
Yeah, inconsistencies. I mean, a couple weeks ago, he was struggling and went to the Ravens, and he was fine, and back to the same old stuff. I don't know, man. I mean, like, that's going to be, look, when the Eagles took the delay of game just to punt it over kicking the ball 50, I was supposed to be 54 yards, whatever it was. They didn't trust him to kick that. I didn't trust him to kick that. So it was a nice pump by Braden Mann to the 2-yard line. It was a great, and Avonte Maddox got it. It was a great punt. But I don't know, dude. Like, I think they just have to regulate him on the next game. I mean, I don't know I don't think they've given up on him yet. But I think they have to, they might, who knows? I mean, if he continues this and the Eagles are winning games and, they win a division, they get they get a spot in the playoffs. They could switch kickers at the end of the year. Maybe. I don't know. They have time to do it.
Would you bring in somebody just to even work out, just to show them, hey, look, we're working this guy out right now?
Yeah.
I
might. Yeah.
Yeah. Maurice Steele, thank you for super chat. Goes, imagine if we had Shane Steichen with this offense. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on. Like, I really wish the media, and they won't do it, but I wish they would really pound the Eagles about the first quarters. Like, all right, well, who's installing the plays? Who's deciding on what plays to run early in the first quarter? Like, I want to know who's calling the plays, because my curiosity is that Nick Sirianni is interjecting himself into this, or the analytics department, but somebody's interjecting themselves into the game plan, because once they make the adjustments during the game, everything always changes. So what is going on in the first quarter, especially, that you can't do anything? That I want to know.
All they ask is why the slow starts, and that's it. That's the only question they even ask.
Yeah. I want to say, well, who's installing the plays? Oh, well, it's a collaborative effort. Okay, so who is dictating that you don't want to run Barkley early in the game? Who's making that? I want them to be pressed on it, because I want to know who's doing it, because there's a disconnect, dude. You could tell me that these coaches come in and the 15 scripted plays are pretty much the same thing every week against every team, and nobody falls for it every week.
I know.
Tourdeville, they were super chat. Jalen is showing a lack of focus. Slid down when he was outside the pocket. Cost us 8 yards for no reason. Too afraid to cut it loose. Yeah, that was such a bad play by him. I mean, that was I don't know what he was thinking. That's the kind of thing that make is that just because it's just bad game and it's just one of those days, or is Hertz struggling, dude? Is he struggling? Brian Plumperman, thank you for the super chat. He goes, keep it 100 every week. That quarterback tried to lose that game. Everyone else executed, but the highest paid guy glossing over his ineptitude is nasty work. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, listen, I think Jalen wasn't the only guy who wasn't good today. All right. But I mean, yes, he was bad. It was the worst game I think he's played all year. To be honest with you. And I know it says he had 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. But I mean, I don't know. Just some of the decision making, having problems throwing the ball. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
ACP Baller, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, Philly, we have to get better in the first quarter, better starts, and we need to get better with the play calling. And again, Nick Sirianni is going to make or break us, and getting better hurts. Play simple as that. I agree. I totally agree with you, 100%. I don't understand. How do you take a delayed game, in that last drive, don't you, if you're the coach, you see that clock ticking down, you got to call timeout. You have to call timeout there. You can't allow that penalty. It's like things like that. You're going, what is going on with this team?
They had 6. I think they had 7 penalties in that game or something like that. I mean, it was 7 penalties, something like that.
But the last sequence before we punted the ball, and man, shout out to man, makes a great punt down at the 2-yard line. Like the mistakes that Jalen Herz is making, the mistakes that Nick Sirianni and the coaches are making. It's like how are you making those kind of mistakes in this situation? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
Fugly Gang, thank you for Super Chat. To be honest, wasn't worried at all during the game. Let me tell you, I was worried. I was worried like hell. That's for sure. Luke, remember for 10 months, man. Thanks so much. He goes, Jalen can't be hesitant. He struggles with reads. Holds on to the ball too long. And somebody said, I think it was Bubba. Shout out to Bubba. I don't know if he's in here or not, but he said he sometimes he waits. He doesn't want to throw a guy open. He only wants to throw if they're wide open. And you've got to be able to throw to spots. You've got to be able to throw if they're wide open, But to me, it's amazing that you have literally A.J. Brown, two catches in the first half. That's crazy, And then sometimes they act like they can't even figure out how to get Devontae Smith going. They have to run the wide receiver screen to Devontae Smith. It's so frustrating,
Yeah.
And at some point, I mean, they have to be better than this. I mean, Hertz has to be better at this when the playoffs start, dude.
Even the break of a route, even on the curl, you got to throw that right at the break. He's waiting until they hit the break. They're sitting there for 2.5 seconds and throws the ball so damn late. And by the time the ball gets there, it's going to get deflected. I mean, it's just the timing is just off. Yeah, when Hertz, when there's wide open guys, it's boom, boom. It's easy,
right?
And I feel like throwing forward, throwing over the D line, throwing in that section of the field, it's that's the big issue. When it's a side, a pass to the flat, a diagonal throw to the sideline, he's more comfortable in that area. When it comes to middle of the field, man, he's hesitant like crazy.
He is, and over the last few weeks, it seems like it's getting worse. So they've got to figure out what is going on with that, and get him, get him in the right direction. I don't believe Jalen Hurts needs to be Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he needs to be Josh Allen. I think he needs to be efficient. I think he needs to make the throws when he has to. I think you need to be able to use Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown in the course of the game. And I think he doesn't have to turn over the ball. I don't need him. I don't need Jalen Hurts to throw 40 times a game and have 4 touchdowns. But I need him to be able to make the throws when he has to. I think between 20 to 30 throws a game, he's got to be able to make. Today, he wasn't good today. And I'm not trying to say I hate him or I think he can't win or anything like that. I'm just saying he wasn't good today. And that's just the truth.
Yeah.
Yo, along with David Super Chat goes, I think we have too many weapons, a gift and a curse. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you could ever have too many weapons. It's not like people were crying like they want the ball. They want the ball. I don't know. Davis Super Chat, very upset with how Hertz has played this year. Yeah, not consistent enough. David, member for 12 months. Thanks so much. Eagles are a run first team, physical football. Agreed. So why come out and then not run the ball early? I'm not saying give Barkley 40 carries, but all right, instead of maybe giving him 15 carries in the second half, give him 10 carries in the second half and give him a little more carries in the first quarter. You know what I mean? So you could get it, you can kind of get into a rhythm. I don't know. And like I said, they don't run play action. How come every time they go into like where Hertz finally goes under center? And I think they should do it more where he's under center and you run play action. Why do they only put him under center and then run play action when Gainwell's in? To me, It doesn't make sense. When Gainwell's in to run play action, you have to do it with Barkley on the field. Beast Guard David Super Chat goes, Jake just got the bag. He's not going anywhere. He's just got to figure it out,
Yeah, what's with the audibles? What's with the changing the plays at the line? Like 2nd and 2, he changes from a run to a pass. Like if you win on first down, you get to 2nd and short. That's a gift. Like it's a gift to have that 2nd and 2. You're running. He changes the play to a pass. I think he took a sack or whatever the hell it was. I mean, come on now.
There was where he changed out of a run and then ran a quarterback draw. One of them was like a broken play, and then he came back with another draw. It's like, I really think a lot of their first quarter offense, in my opinion, is I feel like they're trying to just do what they did last year. I really feel like they try to do what they did last year. Josh Prout, David Super Chat. The minute they go no huddle is when the offense works. Yeah, it's true. Once they go that up tempo. Liquid David Super Chat. AJ was open all day. Hertz is playing like a bum. He wasn't good today. No. And like the touchdown pass to Devontae Smith, if you look at it, like he was staring down Devontae Smith the whole time. He didn't. Yeah,
he made it obvious. He made it obvious.
And it was obvious. And you had AJ Brown wide open over the middle, which was the easier pass to make. I think, I just don't think it was a good game for him. And I think if you can fix the first quarter problems, I think he'll be fine. Listen, I still believe Hertz is a winner, and I believe that he always rises up when he has to get the job done. But I think today, I just think he made it hard on himself. Brian Pumper, thank you for the super chat. He goes, why are you all mad at me? Brian Pumper stood on his nuts. Jamaican scammer Jalen Bumba Hertz is ruining my team. Brian Pumper, I love you. What are you talking about?
I think Brian just gets a kick out of when the QB. I think he wishes the QB like actually does bad. I think he likes to celebrate that. I don't know. It's some weird energy with that.
I never said anything bad about him. I'm not mad at him. Fugly Gang, thank you for super chat. Nick is always scapegoat for anything bad. Yeah, well, Nick is a genius coach. Does nothing wrong. Never did. Was just always a genius from the get-go. And I don't know why anybody would say anything negative about him. I mean, obviously, being a coach during a historical, I'm being an ass. But listen, Nick deserves blame for certain things. I'm sorry he does. I don't know if Nick is the reason for the first quarter problems. I don't know. But I do know that the first quarter problems look a lot like last year's problems. Do you know what I'm saying? It looks a lot like last year's problems.
Remember the offseason?
That's all I'm saying.
Nick and Kellen Moore joining their two schemes together. Right. And it seems like that's what it is all season long.
And then if you look at what Nick said previous 2 years, we like to pass early and run late. It looks like that when they start the game. I don't know if it's Nick, but I do know that it looks a lot like last year's offense. And maybe it's all on Hertz. Maybe it's all Hertz. Okay, fair enough. I don't know. I honestly don't know at this point. I'm so baffled by how they come out every week and play to start a game. I don't know, but I do know that you got to do something different because you can't play Detroit like that. I don't think you can even play Minnesota like that. And you can't start that way, because if the defense plays the way that they did today against Detroit, you're going to be down 21-0, like instantly. So you have to be better, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
You just do. I mean, I don't claim to have all the answers. I don't know. But I do know that when I look at the offense of the first quarter, it sure reminds me of the offense we had last year. Go along with thank you for super chat. We have too many weapons, a gift and a curse. You can see, I only think you have too many weapons is a problem when they're all crying for the ball. Like if they're all sitting there crying over it, then yeah, you might be right. But I mean, I don't think they're doing it. There was that one thing where you saw Brown and Devontae Smith sitting on the bench and they were animated talking. I really would have loved to know what they were saying. Scotty the man, thank you for super chat. He goes, Nick would call firefighters after being robbed. He might. I don't want to, like, I'm not trying to make more of today's game than what it was. But at the same time, I think it's fair to acknowledge that we've got to be better in the passing game. And when I'm talking, and the complaints that I'm talking about are specifically mainly the first quarter stuff, because I think that after 12 games or whatever we've played, 13 games, I think it's fair to say at this point we don't start off good. I don't think that's unfair thing to say. No.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to that point now where if this continues into next week and it flows into a big game next week, where you could close everything up within the division next week. Okay. And I don't want to compare last year so much, because I think we should be over that. And I think we should be looking forward to saying, you know what, like, this is an ugly game they played, get back on the tracks next week and keep the thing rolling. Like, if this continues into next week, then we really have to start to say, okay,
yeah,
don't want to get to
agree.
that point, but
yeah, I agree. DC Trucker, thank you for super chat. Says, complain when Hertz throws a pick and complain when he tries to be safe with the ball. There's nothing he can do will be good enough. I don't know. I mean, if you've been with us watching and listening to us, I think we give Hertz plenty of credit. I think we give him credit all the time. I don't think there's anything wrong with pointing out, when he didn't do something good or he was struggling. I mean, he looked like he was struggling in a passing game today. It just being honest, that's how it looked. Do I think you can win with Hertz? I do. I still believe that. I still believe that he's a winner. I still believe that when the game's online, it's important he'll get the job done. But I do believe that at times with the passing game, sometimes he makes it harder on himself. I don't think saying that is like being too critical of Jalen Hurts. I don't think it's unfair. I'm not saying like Cilio saying you can't win with Jalen Hurts. You can't win with it. I don't believe that. That I don't agree with. But yeah. I mean, he wasn't good today. He just wasn't good.
No,
I think it's fair.
The whole team wasn't.
Yeah,
good.
And the whole team wasn't good. It's not just Hurts. We're only talking about Hurts because he's a quarterback. But I thought the defense wasn't that good today. I thought they missed way too many tackles. I thought they weren't getting home to the quarterback. I haven't seen DeJean let anybody get that open, and I thought McCollum stunk. I thought the safety play stunk.
CJ was on and off. Like CJ made some, he was out of the game twice. Came back. I mean, he had the big hit on Leggett, which got him. And that was a tone setting hit. And then he obviously had the pick that I think was big for momentum. which led us to score on that drive, which is great. So, and he obviously gave up a touchdown on that fourth down. The Panthers were, they weren't backing down. What do they have left? What do they have to lose? I mean, they know they're not going to the playoffs. These teams later in the season, these lower threats, they want to take out, they want to ruin seeding. They want to ruin, team seeding for the playoffs and stuff like that. So, they showed us everything they got. So that's what they did.
Yeah. Beast Guard David Super Chat. He goes, the reason Hertz only throws somebody wide open because he has no arm. Dude has no cannon. Can't thread the needle and throw like a grandma. Thank you for the Super Chat. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't, I think the arm is good enough, but I don't know. Yeah. I mean, he's not Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's fair. Fugly Gang, David Super Chat goes, nothing is all in one person, is all I'm saying. We agree. I think we both agree with that. And by pointing it out, we're not saying it's all on one person either. Toryville, David Super Chat, he goes, maybe let Jake kick off first man to see if it helps get him, give him more chances to get a feel for kicking a game. Need to try something. Yeah, they need to do something. I do worry about that. I do. Bubba says, just look at the curl route to Smitty. The ball has to be out before Smitty goes into his break. As Hertz throws the ball when Smitty was already coming back to him, the ball gets swatted because it was late. Oh, yeah. You mean late? Yeah, I remember the play you're talking about. Yeah. Maryland Eagle, thank you for the Super Chat. He goes, in the second and fourth quarter, the Eagles scored 22 points. 0 points in the first and third quarter. That really stands out to me. Too inconsistent offensively. Yeah, and Maryland Eagle, thank you for the Super Chat. Appreciate it. Yeah, it is inconsistent. And usually it's been like that first quarter. I mean, that first quarter consistently has been like no points all year. So
17 points.
It's just crazy.
17 points in the first quarter this season.
All season, right?
All season.
Yeah,
17 points.
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, don't they sit there and go, all right, listen, we are not making any progress in first quarter. We've got to do something different. Don't they think that at all? It's like, no, they come out, they do the same thing every week. It always looks the exact same, doesn't it? It always looks the same.
And I feel like because they're winning while they're doing this, they're just going to keep doing it because it's getting them wins. Like the process is working, whether it's a perfect game or an ugly game. It's like they sweep it under the rug. Like there's no issues at all.
Right. And the defense masks a lot of it too, because of how well they were playing, But if that defense gives up points early on, it's going to be a big problem. Derek David Super Chat goes, Sam Darnold can come into Philly and outplay Hertz. That game should scare you. We shall see. South David Super Chat. I feel like we're missing pieces for better success. Like you mean like in terms of players, or we're missing like doing certain things for better success? Liquid David Super Chat. Dak on a wheelchair is better than Hertz now. See, I don't know. I don't think it's. I think that's crazy. I think that's too extreme. Here's the thing. We could talk about this till we're blue in the face. The truth of the matter is whatever deficient. If Hertz is really as deficient as some people say, he is in a passing game. It's gonna show itself in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I do not think you can hide it from that. There will be no doubt after the playoffs because that's when we'll find out for sure. Mm-hmm. Brian Pupper, thank you for the Super Chat. He goes, Jalen Hurts should have a speech ready to apologize for the appalling effort today. And we chat GPT screening this bum. No shortcuts. We want our refund. What's chat GPT screening this bum? You mean Hertz for his apology? Is that what he means?
I don't even fucking know. I'm just no.
Scotty the man, David Super Chat goes, Cilio built like Grimace. Stop entertaining haters. I don't know. Who's entertaining? I would want to leave too. You're getting 3 to 4 targets a game. Tush push to make his stats good. 1 yard line. Who wants to leave? Let's see. Rogues, it's all on Nick Sirianni. His play calling is horrible. He thought he could throw more than we are a running team. Hertz plays better when we run and play action. Stop the madness and run Barkley. I agree. I think Barkley had 9 carries in the first half. What if you take some of those carries and you give it to him in the first quarter, like opening possession, opening drive? Like, what would happen? Like, you give Barkley the ball 3 times on the first drive. Like, how many times do we see, like, when the offense starts to go, and even when Hertz makes throws downfield, it all starts when you start with running Barkley. Like, that's what you got to come out and do, in my opinion, Yeah. And then I think everything will be better. Splendid says 500. This was just one of those games. Remember the Raiders game in 2017, the Colts game? Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's how I'm looking at this game. Is like, this is one of those bad games. You overlooked your opponent, whatever it was, just not there as a team. You're off, and I expect them next week to come out. I expect them to play Pittsburgh and be much better, all of them, including Jalen.
If this was 2-3 games straight, he was doing this, and it was like, and we were like, struggling, like the way they struggled today. If they do this the next 2-3 games, then sure, there's something to worry about. But we're talking about one. We're talking about one game, one game, and sometimes, it's just these games happen, and it's happened to every top team around the league. Okay, if Jalen Hurts, if the Eagles kicked 4 field goals and threw a Hail Mary pass in the end zone, would Jalen Hurts get respect? Probably not. If Hurts threw 5 picks in one game, would he get respect? Probably not. It's just like I said earlier this stream, the way they played today, this close, ugly game, the way they played today was how they played almost every game last year. Every single game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just what it is, man. Like, it's like, look, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. That's what we do. But we're not saying that the bench hurts. We're not saying that he can't win with this quarterback. We're not saying any of that. But yeah, Hertz had a horrible day today. Their whole team had a bad day today. Horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's fair to say. I don't think they were good. Because if the Eagles played up to their standards and if they played good, they would have blown this team out. They would have blown them out. James, thank you for super chat, my man. He goes, they always try to make Hertz a pocket passer with a scripted plays, and that's not who he is. We have to accept it. Try and die with the run pass option plays. That's what I agree with you. I think I've come over to that myself because I just don't think you're going to be able to make him a pocket passer. He is what he is, and you need to use him the way that you use them. I agree.
I think honestly you got to run this. I think the philosophy has to change. They have to run this offense through Saquon Barkley. I think that's. I'm sorry that the guy's got too much talent. When we needed him today, I mean, I don't know what we would have done without him today. To be honest, you know what I mean? It's crazy. You probably lose like 4 games if Saquon's not having the games that he's having this year. You know,
Saquon Barkley had 9 carries in the first half for 45 yards. He comes out, he gets 3-4 quick carries, comes off the field, the Eagles score a touchdown, he's got 90 yards. Like that. It's just like that. It's crazy. If you come out, run him earlier, okay? Spread out his carries over 4 quarters, not over 3 quarters. That's all I'm saying. Put Hertz under center a little more and run play action when Barkley's in on the field. They don't do that, and I don't understand. Why can't you run play action, roll Hertz out, and let him throw? I think he would be fine off that. So there's things that they can do. I think. Josh, thank you for super chat. Brian Pope really pays money to be. No, look, he has his opinion, and I respect his opinion. I do. Mark, remember for 10 months there's a good win against Pittsburgh, and we'll forget this. Agreed. Scotty the man, thank you for the super chat. He goes, DeJean might have gotten exposed. Talk about it. Well, yeah, we did earlier. We talked about it. DeJean looked like he had to come back down to earth this week. I mean, he was living large. The Derrick Henry hit. Everybody's talking about it. And, Thielen went out there and the vet schooled him. Let's be honest. He missed some tackles. And Thielen was open, quite a few times. And I think it was hopefully a humbling experience for DeJean. Do I think DeJean's a horrible player or a bust or not a good player? No, I think he's an absolute stud. But he had a bad game. That's all we're saying. Bad game, and we'll move on from there. Fabio, thank you for super chat. He goes, Jalen is so slow to make up his mind and run. Wouldn't it be nice if you had the media actually ask some tough questions, like what's going on with Jay? I really want to know the process of how they're coming up with the game plans, how they're scripting them, who's installing them. I want to know who's doing all that because we don't.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is. 500. We have one bad game. People are ready to jump off ship. These fans in the chat are soft. People are frustrated. I mean, look, I get it. You think I thought by the third quarter, I would have been like, "Oh, this game's over." Okay. You see all the drones in Jersey and talking about whatever. Who thought being holding your breath, going, "Oh my gosh, the Eagles just lost to Carolina." When Leggett catches that ball, I didn't know he dropped the ball. I thought, oh my god.
Yeah, I thought he caught it.
Yeah, I thought he caught it and won. Holy crap! So. I get it. The Eagles are too good to even make it where there should have been a game. However, they're human, and teams in the NFL do this. Happens all the time. It's not the first time a good team struggles against a bad team, has a letdown. It happens. At least we came away with the win. Let's see how they respond next week versus Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I think they're going to come out.
That's the only way that's the only way that football teams learn is look, if you don't go through any adversity during the season, you're never going to fucking learn. The Falcons game, they definitely learned from that and understand we're one catch away from, being right, for the number one seed or whatever. If the Eagles win that game against the Falcons and then obviously going into that bye week, who knows if things would have got fixed? Who knows what we would have looked like post bye week? Everything adds up. Everything happens for a reason, and that's just what it is. So back on track next week.
Back on track next week is right. Shark, thank you for the super chat. He goes, Eagles fans tear down their own team, shaking my head, and we won. Carolina had Kellen's number today. Hertz missed a few guys, yes, but Carolina played good. They did. They played good. They played hard. And, you give them credit where credit is due, However, I know the Eagles are better than this, and I know and I know they played down to their opponent. You could feel it. You could feel the energy levels were low. You could when I can hear the players talking on the field during an Eagles game in Philly, then the crowd's not as into it. It's just it was off. You could tell. Let's see here. Let's see. Jalen Hurts, while trailing in today's game, 10 of 13, 76% completion percentage, 71 yards passing, and 58 rushing. 2 pass touchdowns, 1 rushing, 3 total. Yeah, it sounds great. I mean, it sounds great. No question about it. But if you watch the game, you saw that there was struggling. But like I said, I thought the offensive line struggled too. I don't think they had their best game either, Joey. I thought they weren't that great either.
Who wasn't that good?
The offensive line.
Oh, no.
I don't think they were that good.
Yeah, I mean, look, on top of Hertz already being hesitant in the pocket as is, when there was early pressure, it just made it worse. So if you think he's going to make he's going to make a throw off of quick pressure like that, it ain't going to happen. That's why he was either trying to throw it out as fast as possible or he had to slide on the ground for a loss of 8. We didn't like it, but that's what happened. Yeah, exactly. Acknowledging reality doesn't make us bad fans. No, it doesn't. Not at all. Not at all. Just because you bring up things that happen, I get it. I get it. If I have a tirade
on Nick Sirianni. I get people like, come on, Phil, you know, and they want to like say that, you know, I'm being too hard. Like, I get it. But acknowledging what was obvious today is not make you like, I do not hate Jalen Hurts. I do not think Jalen Hurts can't win. I do think he can win. I watched Jalen Hurts come one drive away from winning a Super Bowl. Nobody's going to convince me that he can't win a Super Bowl. But today he wasn't good. And that's fine. It's okay to say he wasn't good today.
Right.
Scotty the man, thank you for the super chat. Josh Allen second in MVP race. Now Rams cooking. Yeah, well, that's good. He shouldn't be one, that's for sure. Purified, thank you for the super chat, my man. Philly last week, you and others were praising Hurts, saying he's a winner. Why change after one game where we still won? No respect, just one. No, thank you for super purified. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying praising him for winning last week and being a winner, and then saying he had a bad game this week. To me, is not two different things. Like it's not either he's a winner or he played bad. Like, I do think he's a winner, but he didn't have a good game. I don't think that there's anything different. Like, I think it's okay to say, yeah, I think he's a winner, and then say, yeah, he had a bad game. Like, I don't see why it has to be one or the other. I think both can be true. What do you think? What do you say, Joey?
It's like,
am I saying that right?
It's like when I'm at a job, like when I'm at my normal job every single day, and I normally do a fantastic job every single day. There's going to be that day where I don't really do my job up to the standard. You know, does that define who I am as a work, you know, my work ethic, just having one bad day, one, you know, whether it's one bad day, one bad game, one bad whatever. No, it's not. It's like we're pointing out that you said these guys are human. These guys are, you know, this is every week it's really tough to win. Every week it's really hard to really uphold what you do and stay consistent. This is 9 straight games. I mean, I think they break the record. If they win against Pittsburgh, I think they break the record next week.
I think they broke it today, right? Or they tied it today. I can't remember.
They tied it today.
Tied it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. But to, you know, to say that, hey, I think the guy's a winner and stuff, and then say, hey, look, you had a big, like, that's okay. It's okay to say that and acknowledge guy didn't play well. It's okay. It doesn't mean you've turned on him. You know, it's not a Nelson Aguilar. When you hear me go, F this guy, can't stand him, get him the F out. When you hear me start saying that, then I'm done. Okay. Jalen Hurts, I think that there are issues with the first quarter, which we all know. And I think that he had a bad game today. I do not think that he's not a winner or this is going to be what we're going to get the rest of the year. I don't think that. Shark, thank you for the super chat. He goes, we need better plays. O-line wasn't great either. Yeah, we agree. The performance today is one and done to play. Yeah, you can't play like this today. You will not get out of the first round of playoffs today. Mm-mm. But like I said, I think if this team was playing a better team, I don't think they come out like this. I really think that you're between the Ravens and all those big games that the Eagles have had for the last few weeks, right? Then you had the big Ravens game. Then you have the Pittsburgh game coming up. And then you have this Panther game right in between the Ravens and Pittsburgh. I think that it's natural. I think it's sometimes hard to fight against not having, you know what I mean? Not having a whatchamacallit, you know, not taking them for granted, kind of. Scotty, thank you for the super chat. Because Maddox played well, at least. Maddox had a nice down of the ball, right? I'm trying to think what else he did.
I don't know if he did anything else. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a nice. I mean, he that was nicely down.
I think another player. I think Isaiah Rodgers is going to play later soon. I think he's going to play somewhat later again because I don't know. It seems like Slay is getting these little injuries. He was limping one time, then he got hit in the stomach another time. He was holding himself. He didn't look great. And like I said, everyone didn't look great defensively. You know, a lot of missed tackles. Slay didn't look great at all. So Definitely something to keep watch on.
Yeah.
Just,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts had a quarterback rating of 110 today, no turnovers, 3 touchdowns. Defense was not good today. If Jalen ever plays a first quarter, this team will be good. To me, that's the biggest key going in. And yeah, you're right. The defense was not good. But to me, that's the key. The key is the first quarters. You gotta fix the first quarter as an offense going forward because you just can't start out like this against better teams. To me, that's the bigger question.
It's true.
Oh yeah, the Mark Holmes, the Jordan Davis chase down. Yeah, that was man. He's fast for a big guy. That's sure. Allen been terrible versus the Rams. Good. Josh Allen overrated.
I guess everyone's overrated.
500. We play like this at home all year long. Let's face it, we're a road team. Yeah, it seems like we play better on the road, doesn't it?
We do. 100%.
Yeah, it is crazy. Well, we might be on the road in the NFC Championship game because that the Packers game didn't help us.
I got no issue with that.
Nope. Lazyford says, no huddle all first quarter. Let Hertz pick the play, check into, see what happens. Can't be worse. I would not mind if they came out in a hurry up. I think that's a great idea. Like, they got to figure out something, and they got to do it, So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But, I mean, at the end of the day, listen. At the end of the day, you won. You're 11-2. You're one win away from winning the division. Barkley set the rushing record. I think Zach Bond's defensive player of the year, dude. I don't think he'll get it, but I think statistically he's right up there with Luke Kuechly. He deserves it, and he should just get consideration for it.
That's true. It's crazy.
Definitely think he should. But yeah, I mean, listen, it is what it is. I don't think this is I don't think this is like a one-time thing. I think the Eagles, I do think this is like a one-time thing. I think they had a letdown, and we those things happen and we move on. If it happens again against Pittsburgh, I think then we got a problem. But other than that, I'm looking at it like, man, we just played down to our opponents, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we've done it. We've done it this season. We've already done it. We did it with the Browns. We did it with the Jags, and the Giants, I think, was the only bad team that we didn't do it against because obviously there was more going on in that game with Saquon Barkley going to MetLife for the first time since he signed with Philly. So they've done it a few times this year. Every time they play a bad statistical team, they always I don't know if they were trying to do new things today. I don't even know what it was today, but it wasn't just one side. It was the whole team. And then
it was the whole team.
And kicking. I mean, it was all a mess today.
It was.
Everything was.
They just looked slow. They looked like almost like you could say like tired, but they weren't tired. They just looked like they were going through the motions, Young Boy Majesty says, so can one of you answer me this? I've heard people today bash Hertz. When Hertz was throwing picks, we bashed him. Now that he's a bit more productive, we still bash him. How do you guys feel? I think there are people, because Jalen isn't, maybe like a typical pocket passer or what people like. They don't really think that he's a great quarterback. They don't look at him like that. I think there are people that feel that way about him. Me, the way I see it is I think that Jalen Hurts can win you Super Bowls and can win you games. I don't think he's Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he's Josh Allen, but I think he's good enough to win you games. And I think that he's a winner. So I think that, I think that Jalen can win you the big games. I don't think he had a good game today, though. I don't think he was good at all. But overall, I try not to get too caught up in all the, the one thing I learned, especially with the Carson Wentz, when he was our quarterback, it's like you can't argue with people for everything they say because people have their opinions. You're not going to change it. So I read their opinions. I let them get it out. But, my opinion is sometimes different than some of theirs, And that's how I see it. I don't know. Would you say?
No, I mean, like I said, it's just one of those things where good teams always go through a game like this, and this always happens every year in the league, and then they get back on track next week. And look, if this continues throughout next week and the week after, then yeah, I think we should worry. But I'm not gonna worry over one game where
No.
the Eagles looked like this all year last year in 23. People have a
Right.
lot of PTSD over last season and the start of the downfall, and I get it. Trust me.
Well, it went through my mind. This is exactly when things fell off for us last year. It does go
around
through
the
your mind.
same time. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Derek DeGee, thank you for super chat. Sounding like Mark Holmes, it's on Jalen. We try to pass, we can't. Then rely on Barkley to get us out. It's not. Wait, sounding like Mark Holmes, it's on Jalen. We try to pass, we can't. Then rely on Barkley to get us out. It's not today. It's been all year, and that's the script. But see, here's the thing. The thing is why would you try to pass and make it about Jalen throwing the ball when you have Barkley? It doesn't make sense. It should be the opposite. It should be rely on Barkley, make Jalen make passes when he needs to, and that should be the game plan. Why I think people are like, he's got to be Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. No, he doesn't. He's got to be a guy that doesn't turn over the ball, be efficient on third downs, make the throws that you have to make, when you have to make them, be able to get the ball to Devontae and AJ when you're supposed to. But to me, the offense is about Barkley, and it should be about Barkley. And I think a lot of the first quarter struggles or stuff is because we're not trying to be offense around Barkley. We come out and we try to be something we're not. And I think the sooner we accept what we are, I think it won't be a problem. So, I don't look at it like, like Jalen, we got to rely on him first and then Barkley. No, we should never have done it. It should be rely on Barkley.
Yeah, the big part of having Saquon Barkley is to take pressure off Hertz in reality. Like, take what the defense gives you. Like, why do you have to pass fucking 3 times?
Oh, Brian Pumper. Thank you for super chat. He said he just took a huge Jalen Hurts. Bright side, at least he squats 600 pounds.
I'm just done. I'm just done. So I'm done.
Ramal says, 500 Slay is defensive player of the year. Give him the game ball. DeJean second, man. No, Slay is not the defensive player of the year. There's no chance. If Hertz didn't make $51 million, wouldn't be that big a deal. Yeah, well, I mean, that goes along with it. That's a big part of it and why people say what they say. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. You're overdoing it, both you guys. But yeah, the defense and the kicker, not good today. Not good at all. I mean, we talked about the defense earlier in the stream. Defense was not good.
Nope.
Non-kidding says, I understand criticism. What I don't get is people being straight negative. If you wear my team's jersey, I want to see you succeed. Yeah, I mean, look. As long as I've been an Eagle fan, negativity has always been part of it in terms of people will say things, and sometimes it's just out of frustration. I don't put a lot of stock personally into it, I guess, because I'm so used to hearing it, all right, guy does bad. Like I do it all the time. Guy does a bad play. He stinks. He sucks. And you just get into the moment of it, but you don't really think it. You're just frustrated, So I guess, Michael says, Phil, you hate me today? I don't hate you. I don't. What do you mean? I don't hate you. If I missed some of your comments, it's not on purpose. I'm not trying. That's for sure. But I guess I don't know, man. I don't know what else we could say, man. A win is a win at the end of the day, and you're 11-2. So we got to move on from that, right? I mean, no.
Yeah, and get ready for next week. Yeah, and that's what
Get ready for next week. That's the important thing. Next week is to clinch the division. Troy, thank you for super chat. He goes, Eagles need to run a 2 running back system with like the Lions. The Lions rely on David and Gibbs to open the passing game for Goff. If the Eagles did the same thing, it would open the passing game for Hertz. Thoughts? Agree. I agree. I think you can really be setting up and using the run to set up the pass a lot more than they do. And I feel like that sometimes the problems in the first quarter are that we're trying to be something we're not. It's like they want to be this pass first team type thing. And, and the truth is that's not what you are. And the sooner that the Eagles accept that, the easier it'll be. And I think if you use that running game, to set up the passing game more, I think it would work well. But that's just my opinion.
And they just don't, hopefully this is just a wake-up call to change things offensively. I mean, I think it was just a build-up, and sooner or later it's going to linger, and it's, and it turns into a real ugly game where I think it happened in the first quarter. I think it happened in the second quarter, even though they scored at the end of the first half, and I think it lingered a little bit into the second half a little bit. Yeah. So, I think the whole game, I don't think it was good. They got some drives going. It's because they got some of these runs. They had a couple of, good passes. Hertz escaped from a couple sacks. That one for 35 yards, his longest run of the year, so things, naturally things didn't go well. But
if you look at every drive though, that was successful, it comes off of running.
Yes.
It comes off. Even the passes Hertz made, like the Devontae Smith and stuff, it comes off the running game. But if you look at the first quarter, this team comes out and they want to be a passing team. You're not that. I think a lot of the problems in the first quarter are an identity crisis with this team. I just feel like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Michael says, "Hey guys, we're running Barkley to the record, but we're neglected the passing game. AJ and Smitty want their numbers too. They deserve them. They were here when we went to the Super Bowl. We forgot them. I don't think we forgot them. It's just been difficult the last few weeks. Believe me, those guys are going to play a huge factor down the road. They will.
Yeah.
But anyways, I guess we're over an hour in. I guess we'll let you guys go. I'm gonna chill out for a little bit and then go do my cigar video. So. Anything else, man, you want to say before we get out of here?
No, that's it. I'm good. And we just gotta keep keep everything, just see what they do this week. And all we can do is wait and see what they do next week. Like I said, if this sinks in, if this bleeds into another week, then there's something to worry about. But I'm not gonna worry too much about it until they play another game.
Yeah, exactly. And Bubba on the way out says, hey, the one good thing we got, a win is a win. The Chiefs haven't beat a team by 6 all year. This was our worst game in a while. We should have lost because he got smoked and done the drop touchdown. Yeah, I know. We got the win, and that's it. And next week we rebound with a great game and beat Pittsburgh. And we'll be right back on track. So we'll be fine, guys. With that said, we're going to get out of here. We appreciate everybody being here. I hope you guys have a great night. And, we'll talk to you later. I'll definitely have a cigar video out. I know you'll have videos out later. And with that, we done. Peace.
2 minutes to go. You have plenty of time.
Come on.
Oh, shit! Dad! No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off! It's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay.
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today. That was on you, Dak. That was on you, Dak. That was on you, Dak.
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott. Trying to feed the Lamb. You tried to feed the seed Lamb. You got to give it to seed Lamb. God. It's over. It's over, Dak. Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. I buy into this shit. Because here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
I feel it coming. I feel like it's going to take Jerry Jones taking. Cut it off. It's over.